Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video. Do JMA Friday for today's first video. So as always on a Friday, we're having your month-ahead look ahead with the Japanese and CFS V2. So you're going to cover virtually all of May. So we cover the month of May now with the 30-day look ahead, which takes us to the end of the Joshua Spring 2019, of course. Later on this afternoon, we'll have the week 10-day video update. It's going to have all of the regular features in it, and we'll have a final look at May Day Bank Holiday weekend. There's going to be no changes, so it looks like it'll be a fairly cool but relatively dry May Day Bank Holiday weekend. Have a look at that for you for final time this evening. Right, let's get on with the first video though, JMA Friday. So we're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomalies from the JMA, looking at the North Pole view down first of all. So this is the North Pole of the Northern Hemisphere just here, and the latitudes of the Northern Hemisphere are around there. These are broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 3rd through to the 10th of May. Blue is extrapolating to below average heights, which is low pressure. Yellow, orange and red extrapolating to above average heights, which is high pressure. So, a bit of a messy picture for the coming week. This first week, I'd say, takes us from the 3rd to 10th of May, with below average heights to the east and northeast of the country, above average heights blocking out to the northwest, around Greenland, going up to the North Pole. There's some high pressure down towards Spain and Portugal, and then there's low pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic. So we've got low pressure and high pressure coming at us in all directions. I think the main thing, though, with this is that we are bringing in pretty cool northerly winds to start off with, and then possibly reverting to a little bit more of a westerly type setup as we get further on into a period might be turning more unsettled with low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. Week 2 looks like that. It's the 10th to the 17th of May, and the JMA today is showing above average heights building in from the Atlantic and going to the north and east of us. So we're breaking out that more unsettled spell quite quickly. Low pressure's being stuck in the middle of the Atlantic, turning drier and warmer there into the middle part of May. That's the 10th to the 17th of May. How to say the shorter range output isn't really showing that transition to high pressure at the moment, but that's what the JMA is showing this morning. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, which takes us from the 17th through to the 31st of May, looking a little bit unsettled. Below average heights out to the north, to the northwest of us, above average heights weekly down to our south. It looks rather flat, this, bringing in a bit of a westerly flow. I would think particularly for northern and western parts of the country, it'll be more unsettled. The south and southeast possibly having drier conditions. I think the main thing, though, with that is that it's a 2-weekly anomaly, so it could be transitional. So I would think that in week 3, we're probably still quite dominated by high pressure, or maybe transitioning to something more unsettled, but still relatively high pressure in week 3. And then by week 4, possibly going more unsettled then, maybe possibly bringing in low pressure from off the Atlantic rather more strongly, perhaps, as we go through to the final week of May. We always have to keep in mind with a 2-weekly anomaly that there could be some transitional periods going on. So this is the tropical and mid-latitude view, the British Isles and Ireland in the top right-hand corner of the chart. As you're looking at it, you can't see the North Pole. That's off the chart up here, but of course we were just looking at that view down. We know there is extensive northern blocking towards Greenland for week 1, with low pressure just there, high pressure just there, and then a trough sinking through Scandinavia, which we also can't see either. So the temperature anomaly for week 1, 10th through to the 17th of May, is coming out, 3rd to 10th of May I should say, is coming out below average, cooler than average week coming up in the week ahead. Very cool actually for Europe as well. Really cool week coming up this week. And then the precipitation anomaly is actually close to or a little bit drier than average. So I'm not seeing it to be particularly unsettled, interestingly. But certainly quite chilly to start off with. Then we go through to week 2, which is the 10th to the 17th of May. This one with above average heights to our south and southwest. Over the country, jet stream being pushed northwards. This should be a warmer and drier week. Temperature anomalies very quickly recovering to go warmer than average again from the 10th through to the 17th of May. Above average temperature anomalies being forecast there. Precipitation anomalies a bit above average in the north and a bit drier than average down in the south. Maybe surprisingly so, but it will be above average in the north with that above average height area extending in, but possibly there is a little bit of influence of a jet stream to the far north of Scotland. And then we go through to weeks 3 and 4, and again we have low pressure out to the northwest, high pressure down to the southwest. Looks like we should be bringing in a westerly flow. Temperature anomalies are close to or above average in weeks 3 and 4 from the 17th to the 31st of May. And it's going more unsettled as well, so it does imply that that high pressure is getting broken down as we bring more of a westerly flow through, so precipitation is going above average there. Again, that could be transitional, so you could get some relatively dry conditions and fairly warmish conditions maybe in week 3, but then by week 4, going more unsettled. This is how the CFS V2 is looking in comparison. So again, these are 500 millibar heights, so I break it down into week periods. The first week period taking us from the 3rd to the 9th of May. So the coming week has below average heights over Scandinavia, deep troughing over Scandinavia and also middle of the Atlantic, above average heights down towards Spain and Portugal, and then a big blocking area of high pressure around Greenland. So perfect agreement in what is a very complicated weather pattern. Perfect agreement between the JMA and the CFS V2 for week ahead. We bring down cold northerly winds to start off with, and then possibly returning to more of an unsettled westerly perhaps later in week 1. Week 2 looks like this. It's the 10th through to the 16th of May. The area of above average heights building down to our southwest, basically. Low pressure out to the northwest. And so this is turning drier and warmer as the jet stream is being pushed northwards. Could still be a little bit unsettled though up in the north. Week 3 is the 17th to the 23rd of May. Quite a lot of northern blocking sitting over Greenland, but then it's extending down through the UK and through Western Europe. Low pressure is in the Atlantic, flow of a jet going something a bit like that. So again, we are placed on the mild side of a jet there, and we're under a ridge of high pressure, so drier, warmer conditions really as we go into the second half of May. And this goes on into week 4 too. This is the 24th to the 30th of May. Still with quite a strong blocking area of high pressure around Greenland, but it's extending down into the UK and then into Central Europe. So with low pressure in the Atlantic, we're actually drawing up quite warm southeasterly to southerly type winds with that. So again, we expect a lot of dry weather into the second half of May and becoming warmer as well, potentially very warm actually. We really could be starting to pull up some proper southerly southeasterlies there in towards the final week of May, so that could deliver us our first really warm, if not quite hot spell of weather maybe. Temperature anomalies for week 1. This is the 3rd to the 9th of May. Colder than average. Most parts of Europe looking very significantly colder than average in the week ahead as well. So this is a really, really cool week that we've got coming up. Those models are in agreement about that. But then through to week 2, which is the 10th to the 16th of May, temperatures already starting to recover across the UK. Still looking pretty cold though across most central parts of Europe. Temperatures are starting to recover a little bit in week 2, 10th to 16th of May. By the time you get through to week 3, which is the 17th to 23rd of May, going much warmer than average then, becoming really much warmer indeed in the second half of May, and that goes on into week 4 with, again, significantly above average temperature anomalies. By then, all parts of Europe also are becoming really quite warm as well, certainly central parts of Europe too. So month or 2 halves with the CFS, quite cool certainly to start off with, but as the month progresses it does warm up very significantly. Finally, precipitation from the CFS V2. So this is week 1, 3rd to the 9th of May, is a little bit wetter than average at England and Wales, a little bit drier than average out to the northwest of the country. Then week 2, which is the 10th to the 16th of May, really all places are being signalled to be close to or a bit drier than average. It looks relatively dry with the CFS through the first half of May, but week 3 shows a change. It's the 17th to 23rd of May, going to average, probably just because the model is losing its signal, and then that goes on really into week 4, which is the 24th to the 30th of May. Again, it's quite average, really, maybe slightly drier than average. But I suspect, if in reality, with high pressure very close to us in weeks 3 and 4 with CFS, we would probably go to something significantly drier, but also something significantly warmer. So it looks like we're starting off pretty cool and unsettled. That's the first thing to say. Both of models are in agreement that the opening part of May is quite cool, even fairly cold, you would say, and unsettled. But it's not long at all before both of these models are trying to raise the temperatures back up. Certainly by mid-month, we're back into much milder conditions. Then a divergence through the second half of May. The JMA wants things to be increasingly unsettled, I think, through the second half of May. That's a hint that's there in the JMA today, whereas the CFS wants to settle things down and warm things up a lot in the second half of May. Dare I say it, the chance of our first genuine hot spell of weather before the end of May if the CFS was to come off. So we have seen this a lot over recent weeks, actually. Divergences and disagreements between the JMA and the CFS V2. Got another one of those through for the second half of May today. So we shall just wait and see where it's all going. I'm not sure they have particularly the pattern in place for the first half of May. I think it could be quite a lot cooler and quite a lot more unsettled, even up to the middle part of May, than both of these models are anticipating. They could well be trying to get us back to warmer conditions too quickly and dry conditions too quickly. So I'm not sure really that either of these models have particularly well forecast the pattern for this May, but of course it could be that the shorter range is wrong and these longer range models are correct, in which case we will get back to the warmer, drier conditions rather quicker than the shorter range GFS and ECM are suggesting at the moment. We shall see. As ever, long range forecasting, any forecast beyond 5 to 7 days is experimental and is prone to error. So it could all look very different when we do JMA Friday next week. It's just a snapshot of what these two models are showing today. Right, we'll be back later on with your week to 10-day video update. And then, of course, tonight we're going to have the 7th and final May Day Bank Holiday Weekend update. Talking of the bank holiday weekend, loads of updates coming up at Gazlo's weekend forecast tomorrow, as always, and a week to 10-day video update as well. Sunday we'll have some more summer analogues and the Gazlo Sunday roundup. And the bank holiday Monday historic video is going to be a direct follow-on, actually, from the Easter bank holiday Monday historic video. For that one, we looked at the winter of 2017-18, including these from the East. This will be a direct follow-on going through the spring and the summer, that very hot summer that we had last year in 2018. So that will be the bank holiday Monday historic video for May Day bank holiday Monday this year. Right, come back later on for the week to 10-day video update, but that's all for now, and thanks for watching.